Good morning, my friends. Welcome to our New Testament challenge. Today I'm going to share with you some thoughts from the first chapter of the book of Galatians, Galatians chapter 1. Paul's church to the churches in Galatia, Paul's letter to the churches in Galatia. He had been there, he had helped set this church up, and there's a lot of similarities in Paul's letters. There's usually a greeting and kind of I thank God for this, and he kind of delivers that. And then at the end, there's kind of type of the same thing. Oh, remember to say hello to this and that. Well, Galatians is a little different. He doesn't waste a whole lot of time saying, oh, I thank God for you. He does. He does like 3 verses. Grace to you and peace from God, but usually it's a little longer. But here he jumps right in. In verse 6, he says, "I am astonished you are so quickly deserting the gospel, deserting the one who called you in the grace of Christ, and are turning to a different gospel." Apparently, there were a lot of Judaizers in Galatia, and so they were trying to tell the Gentiles that you have to be circumcised, you have to follow the law, you have to do all these other things that they did in order to reap the benefits of the faith. And Paul's like, no, that's not it. Christ came along to do away with those things. They're good physical manifestations of the covenant that God made with the Israelites. But for Gentiles, God did not make that covenant with them. And so their faith by grace is what brings them into the church, into the faith, brings them their salvation. And so he wants to really get, apparently this was a big issue. And there were a lot of people that were getting very, very confused. And so he jumps right in. He says those who are trying to teach otherwise are accursed. He doesn't hold anything back. And then he goes and spends a good bit of time kind of defending his apostleship. He actually starts that way. If you go back to verse 1, he says, "Paul, an apostle, sent neither by human commission nor from human authorities, but from Jesus Christ himself." He jumped right in because God slapped him blind on the road to Damascus and changed his heart. And so he goes in, he says, all right, here's my story. I was persecuting the church. I admit that. I was, just really going after him, and God changed me, and God changed my heart and taught me what we needed to know. And so he goes through that, and he kind of explains. He said, I did this by myself. I didn't go to Jerusalem immediately. I did eventually go up there, and I talked to Peter, and we're on the same page. So understand that. We are there together. He shows he went to different places. And he says, I went to churches in Judea, and they said, the one who formerly was persecuting us is now proclaiming the faith he once tried to destroy. And they glorified God because of me. So chapter 1 is spent jumping right into the thick of things, saying, don't go after something else when I taught you the simplest, easiest way to fellowship with Christ. Don't add any other burdens onto the faith that you do not need. And then he kind of reaffirms why they ought to listen to what he is teaching. He has this divine authority, and he also has this connection with the church, but it is not the normal connection. God ordained that connection, and because of that, they ought to listen to him. This is interesting stuff. Hopefully you've learned a little bit today, and hopefully it will be a blessing to you. Take care, my friends. We'll talk to you tomorrow.